Good afternoon. I'm Dana Tyler. This is your CBS2 update, and we begin with breaking news. Part of the Westside Highway is shut down because of shots fired on the roadway. The DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, says this all started with a large-scale heroin bust in the Bronx. Investigators followed a Jeep Cherokee into Manhattan and stopped the suspect at 47th Street and 12th Avenue, right by the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum. Investigators say the suspect made movements they felt were threatening and opened fire. No one was hurt, but the area became crowded.
No fear on my part. I was around a lot of tourists who ran. We kind of rode mosey along. But again, New York City, we know anything, anywhere, anytime. Be alert, be ready.
The suspect drove away, but police say they found him back at the original scene of the bust in the Bronx. DEA officials will be holding a press conference soon with more updated information. We'll be streaming that live on our Facebook page at CBS New York. Police are looking for a man who stabbed a Good Samaritan who was trying to break up a fight on an F train. It happened yesterday afternoon in Queens. CBS2's Clark Foraker reports from Forest Hills.
Photos snapped aboard a Queens-bound F train show the man police say stabbed another rider just before the 75th Avenue stop. Police say the man with the knife had been in an altercation with the woman when the victim tried to de-escalate the situation.
So the lesson is mind your business, and I would leave and I would just call 911. That's it. I wouldn't mind my business. I wouldn't get involved.
Lisa Bono and her colleague Tara Minion saw EMTs taking the 49-year-old victim to the hospital yesterday afternoon around 5. They had the exact opposite opinion about what one should do to help keep a subway dispute from getting violent.
If I saw someone who needed help, I would just want to try to do something. I wouldn't put myself in danger. If they looked very crazy, I would step away and call someone. But if I didn't feel threatened, I would try to reach out and help them in any way I could.
Police say the man was stabbed in his chest and leg. They say he and the suspect had no prior relationship. Riders on this line say they've seen disputes before and don't always know what the best reaction is.
Basically, I'll just probably try to call a police officer and, let them more or less do their job.
I guess I've done both. I think once it escalates beyond a certain point, you tend not to get involved because it seems dangerous. If it's just something small, you can sometimes make a friendly comment that might dispel some of the anger.
Police say the suspect exited the train at the 75th Avenue stop and left the station before police arrived. They say they don't know anything about the suspect because he was mid-commute and they need help finding him. The victim was admitted to the hospital overnight and has since been released. He's expected to recover. In Forest Hills, Queens, Clark Foraker, CBS 2 News.
A suspected MS-13 gang member is expected to face a judge today. The suspect is accused of killing a young man and dumping his body near a Nassau County school. 23-year-old Jose Quintanilla Cruz is charged in the stabbing death of 21-year-old Carlos Rivas Manjano. Police say he was killed a year ago. After getting a tip, Nassau County Police found Rivas Manjano's body last month in a shallow grave near Callenberg High School in East Meadow.
He was brought to the woods, much like they have in the past, where he's known to them, he felt comfortable with them. On this particular occasion, they took him into that area and then killed him.
Cruz is the second person charged in the murder, and police are looking for others. The department also says its gang crackdown has resulted in no known MS-13 murders this year in Nassau County. A notorious contractor already convicted of preying on homeowners after Superstorm Sandy pleaded guilty in court to defrauding another group of homeowners. Lee Moser was sentenced to 45 days in jail for stealing more than $113,000 from 5 homeowners in Nassau County, as well as from the governor's Office of Storm Recovery. Instead of doing the work he promised on their houses in East Rockaway, Moser made excuses for delays and spent their money.
He made me sign a contract. When we signed the contract, he wanted $27,150 down on the signing the contract. He went from here to my house with the check and went to a Chase branch, cashed it.
Before he did any work?
That was within hours. He knew he was taking the money.
Now, some of those homes are still not repaired. And here's something different in his sentence. He will be serving the 45 days on the weekend so he can continue to work and pay the money back that he stole. The weather, the humidity from yesterday seems to have lifted a bit, and it is definitely feeling more like autumn. But there are some storms in our forecast. Here's John Elliott.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I don't need to tell you, wow, we have really cooled things off. And I mean, it's not like your team here at Channel 2 has cooled anything off. It's just the change in the wind. It's that brisk wind. So, wow, just a delightful change. Seasonal numbers this afternoon. Now, the bummer is, overnight tonight, here comes another low. Where's it going to go? Unfortunately, bringing in the possibility of just some soaking rain tomorrow morning. Some of the model runs this morning had 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain. That's why we're concerned about the risk of some flooding. But then it's in and out. I mean, even during the day on Friday, we see the skies change and we'll see some clearing. And it's definitely a brighter story on your Saturday. So for today, 71, less humid, nice seasonal numbers. For your evening activities, for the most part, you're okay. But I want to give you the heads up. The National Weather Service has issued a flood watch, kicks in at 8. I think in the city, you're fine through the Mets game and through a Broadway show or through even a movie or an after-school activity or if you're working late. But the rain comes in overnight, and it could be heavy at times, 59. So we start the day tomorrow, I mean, with the potential for a soaking rain in the morning, and then it's cooler because of the leftover clouds. But then there's that shift underway where we see that low exit and we see it replaced with some much nicer weather for the weekend. So let's make some plans. Saturday, sun's back, 73, great. A little cooler, but nice and bright, a real delight on Sunday.
Hundreds of people gathered this afternoon to honor the life and sacrifice of an FDNY firefighter. The sounds of bagpipes and drums echoing through the streets in the Bronx as loved ones, firefighters, and community members remember Deputy Chief Michael Fahey. He died 2 years ago today while responding to reports of a gas leak at an illegal marijuana grow house.
In his final moments, he was doing what he loved. His decisions made sure no one else was seriously hurt. He put himself directly in harm's way so that others would be protected and saved.
A plaque went up at the Bronx firehouse Fahey once called home, and a street sign has been unveiled in his honor. In Nassau County, homeowners call property tax assessments antiquated, confusing, and illegal. The county executive has a plan to change the system, but will it be enough for taxpayers? CBS 2's Jennifer McLogan reports.
Most of the homes in this Nassau neighborhood are undervalued, say local realtors, and could be sold for 50% more than they're currently assessed. The Knights of Hicksville.
I think people just kind of being cheated.
Kevin Lowry of Rockville Center.
We have to cover the refunds for the school districts.
For decades, families have begged to get Nassau's antiquated, confusing property tax assessment rolls fixed.
Challenge the taxes every year.
Make it fair and equitable.
The game is kind of skewed away from, the homeowner.
Now Laura Curran is making good on her campaign pledge, but overruling an original agreement with the legislature, signing an executive order to lower the rate at which homes are assessed from 0.25 to 0.1%.
For the first time in many years, we will have a defensible tax roll. We won't be in a position where we will have to do mass settlements. Our assessments will make sense to property owners because they will reflect fair market value.
The tax rolls were frozen for 8 years under the Mangano administration. Out of 424,000 property owners in the county, more than half filed annual grievances, reducing their bills, but driving up tax bills for the half who didn't protest. Is Curran's the best solution?
We are adamantly opposed to it.
The Republican majority says Curran has manipulated numbers to essentially remove protective state tax caps.
We'd have to go property by property, but if your assessed value goes up 20%, you're paying 20% more in taxes that year.
Curran defends the legality, says it will be a bumpy but fair ride. She wants the new assessment phased in over 5 years so that no homeowner will see dramatic tax swings, and is now working with state lawmakers for protections. Property owners will get a notice of their new values by early next month. and their tentative assessments in January. In Mineola, Long Island, Jennifer McLogan, CBS 2 News.
A Staten Island man could pay his whole neighborhood's property taxes if he wanted to. He is the sole winner of a Powerball jackpot in August worth $6 million. Nanlaw Mangal won those winnings, and he came forward today at a ceremony in Queens. Take a look at the moment when he got that big check.
Congratulations to CN Sand Trust on your $245 million win! Hold it lower. Yay!
As for what he plans to do with his millions, he says he'll invest, pay off his bills, and take a trip to Hawaii. It was a good day for the Staten Island Stop and Shop where Mangal won the ticket, bought the ticket. The store manager got a $10,000 check for selling the winning ticket. In today's Eye on Cyber report, you are face-to-face with your phone and it unlocks. So, how does facial recognition work exactly, and is it safe? CBS 2's Siobhan Gorman explains.
Facial recognition is a type of biometric that verifies your identity, and it's designed to be a more secure way of using your phone. It's available on Apple as well as Android phones and identifies you by tracking multiple measurements of your facial features to establish a pattern unique to you. In the case of the iPhone X, its Face ID technology uses more than 30,000 invisible dots to create a 3D map of your face in addition to capturing an infrared image. In addition to unlocking your phone, Face ID allows you to make purchases. The technology has also been used for airport security, in healthcare as a way to track medication use, in marketing as a way to make advertising more targeted, even as a way to spot your kids in summer camp photos. For these reasons, some privacy advocates have been wary of the growth of facial recognition technology. They say there aren't enough protections to ensure your facial data is not misused. If you decide to use it, here's what you should know about the iPhone X. Set up a passcode as a backup security measure. You may need it if you've just turned your device on or haven't used Face ID for 48 hours, the device has received a remote lock command, or there are 5 unsuccessful attempts to log in. Facial recognition is the way of the future. Some analysts believe that more than half of all phones will use 3D technology by 2020. With an eye on cyber, I'm Siobhan Gorman.
Amazon opens another store on the street. This one is its first 4-star store, and it's in Manhattan. You guessed it. The 4 stars mean all of the products sold there are things that Amazon customers rated 4 stars or above online. The company says the store will carry everything from kitchen products and games and all sorts of electronics. Amazon has already entered the brick-and-mortar market with Amazon Books stores and Amazon Go stores. That's your CBS 2 update. Stay with us on CBSNewYork.com all day, along with our CBS New York Facebook and Twitter pages for the latest news as it happens. And we'll see you on television later today. I'll see you CBS 2 News at 6 o'clock. I'm Dana Tyler. Have a good afternoon.